Okay, let's put this on the good old D&D. Make sure no one can disturb our fun. And welcome, guys. We are here for some drunken advance wars. I am here extra, super late. I usually like to start this off about an hour and a half earlier. But that just wasn't what was in the plans for tonight. Just me and the kids were out late. My son was playing Zelda, and I was just kind of letting him play, stay up a little later. You know, he's a fourth grader. It's a Saturday night. So I let him stay up for a little bit. And then me and the old woman watched an episode of Demon Slayer and just kind of hung out before she passed out. And now here we are. I had to eat a quick bit though, cuz I got to stop doing that thing that I do, especially on Saturday nights, because to play this, to prep for this, drinking a third of a bottle of whiskey. This is the only day that I drink during the week. And I have made it. It has been no secret. Especially in any of my One Piece videos, you'll not see me on camera directly do it, because right now while I'm recording in my car, I'll like lean down so I'm not in frame. But, it is no secret and no surprise to anyone that I took on the Mary Jane. And I've been doing that for more than 15 years at this point. Definitely closer to 20 than 10. But drinking will give me the munchies more than anything else will. Alcohol will I will become ravenous after some drinking. And I tend to drink, play Advance Wars, and then I would go inside and just max out on food. And then go to sleep almost right after. And that's not good. You should not be eating and then falling asleep. Your body will just retain a whole lot more just fat and calories than it otherwise would. So I had to make sure I ate a little bit before I started this. And I did. So here we are. Oh, what a week. What a week. Had my first official full 6-day work week of peak season at this new location, and it was at least 8 hours every day of just solid manual labor. And, it's good. I don't mind it so much. Actually, the hardest part about it is you get more product than you normally would, but you don't get so much that you're not getting like swamped throughout the day. It's more so the same amount of shit you get, but just longer. Now that does mean if you start to fall behind, you are gonna get, fucky wuckied. But in general, it's just basically the same amount of volume you get per hour, just over a longer period of time. So that will actually mean that you still have moments where you're kind of slow and you'll start nodding off and falling asleep where I'm normally working. And that's actually the hardest part, is when you start getting hit, because I have to start walking. I got to clock in at 12:30 in the morning, right after midnight. So I got to get out of my car about 12:25, 12:27 to be exact. So I wake up an hour before I have to like physically walk into my work. So I have to wake up for work before like the day of work even hits. Like if I had to work tonight, right now for me, Central Time, it is 12:20 in the morning. I would have been awake technically yesterday. And that's rough. So when you hit like 6:30, 7 o'clock, you get hit with that wave of just woo. And you got to start just kind of finding the song that you got to jam to and keep yourself awake. But yeah, I bought myself a new bottle today. I bought some Johnny Walker double black label, so some extra smoky whiskey. And listened to some Black Sabbath earlier, listened to their album Technical Ecstasy. And there's nothing really special about that album for this, but I basically had a toast to a friend of mine who passed away this week. And he wasn't like a direct friend of mine, like he wasn't like my friend. He wasn't a part of my friend group, but he was a part of one of my best friends that I have right now. I met as like an adult when I would have been 20, like just turning 26, somewhere around there, which is already 9 years ago. Fuck. But I was homeless. I moved back in with my parents, stayed with them for about a year, and then moved back out. And that's when I met one of my best friends. And this friend was a part of their friend group. We were both groomsmen at their wedding. And, he stayed over at my house, and I hung out with him, at least a dozen times, around, maybe a little bit more, 20 times over the course of like 4 or 5 years. I hung out with him enough. And yeah, just losing a friend this week was a bummer. You really get, obviously, I'm 35. I have 2 kids. I have come to terms and thought about and felt my own mortality at multiple times in my life. But when it strikes at someone within your like direct friend group, like that's when like you start to realize like, oh, it's time. It could happen. I mean, it could always happen at any moment. But like as you get older, those odds start rolling higher and higher every day. I mean, there's a reason why I've tried drinking less soda and more water, less energy drinks, less Gatorade, less Arizonas, less sugar. I'm trying to get better about drinking, cleaner water, milk. I still do have a couple sips of soda. I still have some juice. I'm not a fucking saint, but I try to be a little bit better. Because I know, it could happen. And I have 2 kids. I want to stay around for their lives as long as I can. And, being healthier is a way. So when you see someone in your friend group who's, he was like 4 or 5 years younger than me. So, a couple of years ago, he had moved to Arizona because he was, I don't know if he was a psychiatrist or a psychologist. He did some sort of medical stuff with people and brains and, stuff like that. Or he must have been a psychologist because I don't think he was a full-blown doctor. Because I believe the difference is a psychiatrist can actually prescribe medication. And I don't think he could do that. But he still wanted to work in mental health. And I guess Arizona is supposedly a really big state for that. And, he was just living his best life. He was trying to do his dream. And, I think what ended up happening is, unfortunately, if you knew this friend, if you were to write, like, if he were to have been a character in a movie and this part of his lore and backstory would come out, if it was a movie, he would have died to exactly that thing in a movie. It was almost comically predictable because he had a severe dairy allergy. Now, a lot of people, when they hear dairy allergy, their first thought, just instinctually, a lot of times, is lactose intolerance. That's what a lot of people just think when they hear, like, oh, I'm allergic to dairy. Like, most people are like, ooh, that gives you the bubble guts. But it's not. Like, he had an actual allergy to dairy, like severe. You know, the way that you hear people who are allergic to peanuts and shellfish. That's how allergic to dairy he was. And I don't know if it was at a friend's house. I don't know if it was at a restaurant. But he ate a whole bunch of dairy unknowingly. And he had gone, I'm not sure over what time span, but he had gone into cardiac arrest 3 times. His brain was swelling up and the swelling wasn't going down. And unfortunately, his old man had to make the call. And, they pulled the plug on him. And, RIP to a homie. And, I think his dad made the right decision, like, for whatever it's worth. Like, I know that's not a decision that any parent wants to make, but it's like, bro, if he's gone into cardiac arrest 3 times, his brain swelling's not going down, like, there's no way to know if he's, like, in any sort of pain. Like, you got to make a decision. I think he made the right one. But, it still sucks, because, again, if you would have written, like, oh, this character has a severe allergy, it's like, all right, well, he's probably going to, that allergy is probably going to be an extra problem at some point. And it was. And it really sucks. And it sucks even more for, like, my best friend and their wife and their whole friend group, like, all of them. I became friends with them, like, 9 years ago. But these guys were friends with each other from, like, elementary, middle school. Like, they were a long-running group of friends. And, yeah, it just puts everything into perspective, it definitely made me, not like you don't ever look at when you're a parent, you always look at your kids with love. But that's just a moment where you kind of, everything gets put into perspective a little bit. And you look at your kids a little more lovingly. And it is why I'm trying to get healthier and why I'm trying to get better. I don't want to end on a bummer, but, I'm drunk and I want to vent about it because, I got to have some sort of outlet for all of this. But, ultimately, it just reminds me to, it could happen to anyone at any point. And you should live like it. It should make people a lot nicer and a lot kinder. But for some reason, a lot of people are a lot more jaded and jagged. So, hug a homie. Tell people you love them. Because you never know. And if you're in a state, where you're not as, like me, as healthy as you want to be, well then, what time better than now? Everybody wants to wait for New Year's Day, new year, new me. But you don't got to do that. 1 year is 365 days. Who gives a shit what day that's on? 1 year is 1 year. It could be literally any day. Right now, because it's past midnight for me right now, it is, what's today's date? It is December 7th. December 7th can be just as good as January 1st. Just make the change, be better. And I guess, not like that pertains to my friend because he was healthy. It was just something tragic. But it's just more so, eliminate chances that you have unnecessarily. And I guess the people who are thrill seekers or anything like that, y'all are weirdos. And I don't know what to really tell you. But it is time to start. I've hung around. People came and went. And it's time to get started. Now, if anybody actually looks on my channel at the playlist, you will see that there will be a blank space between the last video, the last live stream 2 weeks ago, and this one. And that is because last week I did Kanbei Arrives, which is mission 9. And when I was recording, my neighbor needed to get into my driveway because we live in these houses that have 3 homes within it, 2 on one side and then 1 around the back. And we all share a driveway and mini parking lot. And to stay connected to my Wi-Fi, I park in like the middle of our driveway, right next to, because my apartment is the one that's closest to the street, and it's a rectangle that goes away from the street. So, narrow side, parallel to the street, long side perpendicular to the street. So it's, just a rectangle. And where I park is like closest to the street on the rectangle. And my neighbor came in and needed to park, and I paused the stream, and then I never unpaused the stream. And I just, I beat an entire level, an entire mission, and did not have it, I didn't have it streamed. I had the stream paused the entire time. Because when I pause it, this little timer that's going on up in the top left, even when it's paused, that timer is still going. So I didn't notice that it was still paused. And, so when I beat this game, I will have to redo that mission, so that way that mission gets, uploaded with the rest of them. But I guess as a rundown of what happened, it was the first mission that I actually did worse my second time. Every mission beforehand, I had either done the same grade I had gotten before or better. Except for one training mission where you're not meant to kill everyone, and I went out of my way to kill everyone. But aside from that, all the other missions I had played so far, I had done either the same rank or better than my rank. And this was one where I actually did worse. Didn't seem like by much, but still, worse is worse, one way or the other. And it was the mission Kanbei Arrives, and I think I had Sammy. Did I? Was it Sammy or Andy? Shit, I don't remember anymore. I don't remember who it was, but I'll have to look, because I still have the lives. It's just privated, and I'm not going to make it public because it's majority blank screen. Who the fuck wants to see that? But I had to do the mission twice, because the first time I'd gotten close to winning, but I just wasn't quite like locked in as much. And once I realized what I needed to do, and it was more like there's 2 rockets on the map, and my solution was just like, okay, take these rockets out immediately, because once I got rid of their actual long range, taking them out before the rest of their troops could come in, it just made everything easier. The first time I did it, I did not take out those rockets right away, and I got close, but no cigar. I lost, and it was like, I bend the knee. Good job. And then the second time I took out those rockets, by turn 2, they were both gone, and then everything else basically walked into a death wall. And I lost more troops than I should have, which is why I got a B rank instead of an A. But yeah, it was the first mission that I'd actually done worse in my second attempt here. But, it is what it is. Like I said, just to make sure I have all the missions up in the finished product of this, I will have to redo that mission, hopefully at the end, because supposedly you can redo missions, and I'll want to do that. So that is enough. I've talked enough. time to get started. No one's even in here, but that's good. That's fine. That's how I like it. I'm never too hung up. I'm never too hung up on how many viewers I have. I am playing a game from 2001. Like, let's be real here. What shall we do? Is it Sonja or is it actually Sonya? I don't know how it's supposed to be. I'm just going to say Sonja because that's what I've always called her. Well, what are the current battle conditions, Father? What? I asked about the conditions, Father. Well, Oh, Father. This is so typical of you. Gathering thorough intel is the key to victory. What were you planning to do without even basic information? Basic information. Well, yes. Hopeless. Absolutely hopeless. I suppose I'll share my intel with you, Father. The enemy troops are deployed here. Doesn't appear to be a very large force. Is that so? Then I'll just crush them with superior numbers. Well, yes, you could do that. But first, it is decided. This time Kanbei will be showered with glory. You've got to remember to deploy in an area with secure bases. If the enemy seizes them before you arrive, Father, he's gone. Oh, Father, what are you trying to prove? All right, well, yeah, this is a capturing mission. So, yeah, it's got to be Sammy. I think I remember what mission this is. There aren't many units here. But then, there must be some bases around here, right now? Right as always, Sammy. Nothing gets by you. I'm sure I don't have to tell you what to do, right? Nope, I don't have any questions. I'm counting on you, Sammy. You too, Jackal. Oh, wait, no, this is not the mission I thought it was. Alright. You can hit anyone, so I don't care about you. I care about you. Let's start with some easy damage. Why can't he land there? What's with that space? One, two, three. All right, this is a question. Yeah, we'll get an artillery and a mech unit. Yeah, no, I'd rather have that tank come to me. The question is what to do with this guy here. All right, well, you know what? Let's actually turn the... All right, that's enough of that. All right, I'll just take the killing blow. Because I'd rather not even have... I'd rather not even have him touch old boy over here. It's like the same over here. Just throw an infantry. So that's the gimmick. He doesn't have... That's dumb. That's real dumb. Unfortunately, his well-trained troops actually do a lot more damage than they otherwise should. Wait, what? Oh, no, duh. I'm probably going to have to redo this mission already. Alright. Hit him. Let's see if we can make any good with this. Because I have bases to replenish. He does not. Alright, let's use the power here. Use the power. Alright, let's capture some shit. Oof, that's rough. That's so rough to have. I'm gonna die. Damn, they still lived. They still lived. The power of the power of the super. Wow. Wow. That bought me more in all reality than I ever could have dreamed that it would. Holy Jesus. We're just gonna choke point this motherfucker. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we kind of got to do. This one here is fucking dangerous. Oh my God. All right, let's get more monies because we need more money. We need more money so bad. All right, this is gonna suck. This is gonna suck. Ooh. Ooh, ooh. Death. Yeah, yeah, as to be expected. Rough. Yep, that is it. We were doing good up until his special hit, and that'll do it right there. Oh, nope, nope. All right, that is we take an L. We take an L right there. The game hath beaten me. All right, let's try this again. Attempt number 2. Last time I beat it with Sammy, so clearly I can beat it with Sammy again. Mm-mm-mm. All right. We are solely going to... Okay, I don't even know what I was pretending to have you do. You need to start capturing shit. You capture some shit. All right. Let's see if we do any better this time. That's just fine. That's a lot of damage. That's a great amount of damage. Mmm. Full defensive mode. Full defense mode. All right. I need funds. You need to get me funds. You need to acquire them expeditiously. Okay, now see, here's the thing. I'm trying to think big brain here. Because... See, if I hit him again, he's going to retreat. And that's going to leave room for these other fuckers. He's going to hit that tank no matter what anyway. But he's also 3%. So, like, who's really scared of that? Yeah, this takes play. Yeah, see, like, this is hits. This is shots from the cheap seats. Really? That's incredible. That's incredible that you would do that. Okay. Mo money. Mo money. No. Alright, eliminate long range first. And then I can strategically pot shot whoever I want. Was that the right move? Alright. Alright, let's just turn this on. Just for this mech here. Honestly, this mech here is enough reason to use that. Because I could eliminate this guy at any point. Yeah, we're just going to leave it. Alright. End turn, end turn, end turn. Yeah, cut me to shreds. Morale boost. I've been waiting for that, dumbass. That's what we waited for. Oh, he couldn't stand his ground. He could not do it. That's dumb. That's dumb. I think this would be better. Do chip shot damage. Then big... Kill him. Just gotta get rid of him. Just get rid of him. Just get rid of him. Just get rid of him. God damn it. Take shots from afar, baby. I'll just eliminate me a medium tank anytime I can right now. Because these guys are awful right now. They are the worst. They are the worst. Only one of them can come. You just get out. Stand tall. You can grin all you want. That was a long-term victory for me. That just looked good for you on paper, bitch. That just looked good for you on paper. That's right. Replacements. 40 damage. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And then he just got there. He's going to try to heal himself, which he's going to. All right. My roommate has to switch with me. I'm not going to forget to fucking unpause my stream this time. All right, I remembered to restart my stream this time. I did not make the same mistake I did last time. So, victory for me. Um, how much damage am I going to do to you? Let's pop this one. Now I can War of Attrition this guy out. I got this now. Um, I'll bring them around because there's nobody else. So this is going to be the main battlefront. So I'm just going to bring probably 2 guys over here to deal with it. Actually, I'll bring all 3 of them to deal with it. This medium tank like a boss. And just like that, switcheroo. That one's going to retreat. I actually just want to get rid of him. I want 1 whole number off the field. Yep, I know exactly what I'm going to hit. Hit Sweet Cheeks in the back. Beautiful. I should have brought that rocket, like I said the first time. Not like that one medium tank is going to make a long-term difference, but still, it's just annoying. Why would I do that? Why? What would possess me to place him right there? Get rid of this guy. Splash. Splash. His troops being as strong as they are is super annoying. Man, he gave up. He didn't even attempt to move his guys over here. Just because I like the medium tanks. Get rid of that last one. Or not, or use my last rocket, I meant. Like, of the three I had. This is just like it was last week. I just needed a second chance. Just had to lose, get the vibes, and then it was like, okay. I now know what must be done. Okay, do a bit more damage now that it's... That was kind of unwise. Gun him down. Last shot. Pop. Done. Done match. This is beyond comprehension. Regardless of the odds, Kanbei should never use this many units. Or lose this many units. Withdraw. Even though the last map didn't get uploaded because I messed up, the fact that this one I do and I got better again after last week doing worse, that's happy news right there. All right, let's save it up. All right, and now I'm going to get out of here. Let's go check the... Let's go buy our last map. All right, we got the very last of these war room maps. So what was this last one? Last mission, the enemy is going to be both Hawk and Sammy. I can't wait to do some of these. Some of these look so epic. So we got some 3 people maps and some 2 people maps. Okay. And I heard the difficulty of these is supposed to be harder than the game on average. I have heard that the map that I really am looking forward to, which is Rivals, I heard that is the hardest, but that these are in general harder than the campaigns. So I have every war room map now, and now I just have to go about and beat the game. And then I still have to do, and then I'll have to do Kanbei Arrives as well, on top of all the missions that I didn't get a chance to do my first run through. But yeah, I'm glad that went how it did. I feel like that was how it went before too when I first beat the game. Is that I would play through a map and it would work or not work, maybe not, we'll see. And then once I got a feel for it, then we were good. That one was excellent though. I stomped through the enemy. I lost very little, killed a lot. That one is more just about, they have to cross at those bridges. That's not a river that even the ground troops can cross. So as long as you bottleneck those with a medium tank, basically nothing can get through. And just don't kill things as much overall. Don't kill things in the front. Because you want to take advantage of the fact that the enemy will, until they're at critical health, will not retreat. So it's better off having, at least the majority of the time in this map, especially at that northeastern bridge, making it to where all of the, the smaller tanks are all at like 5 health, and they're trying to run at half capacity, taking pot shots at the medium tanks as much as you can the moment they get into range. As long as you're doing that, you'll be fine. Unfortunately, if you are not ready and you show a crack, that's it. The game will take you out. Just like it did the first time. But I figured it out. I had the right idea, and then we went from there. So, cool. Next week, I will obviously be back for whatever the next mission's called. I will look it up when I get to it next week. Oh, I'm not sure what I'm going to do tomorrow. Tomorrow's my one day off for the week. So I'm probably not going to get to relax a whole lot. We'll see what the kids want to end up doing. See if they want to... Who knows? Who knows what they'll want to do. They might want to... See if they want to... Depending on the weather, they might want to play outside in the snow. Might want to go to Playland. I don't know. I'll see what tomorrow brings. See how much of a pain in the ass the kids want to be tomorrow. Because today they were not good. I had to actually leave work early to come home because of how out of line my kids were being. So that was fun. I didn't have to leave a whole bunch early. It was just 20 minutes. But still, that was overtime. So that was like $10, $11 that I missed out on top of everything. And I will always take those $10, $11. Always. But we'll see. We'll see how they are. I definitely got to let my body try and relax as much as I can. Because last week, for my day off, I decided that what I was going to do was take the kids sledding. Which didn't just mean sledding, because that's obviously the fun and easy part. But what also comes with that is having to pull your kids up the hill. And that was not an activity that I should have been doing when I'm having to work, possibly more than 8 hours the next 6 days in a row. It's probably not wise. So tomorrow I'm going to be a lot smarter about what it is that I'm doing with my body. Just because for the next 3.5 weeks, my body's got to be at its best. There's just 4 weeks that I just need my body to just go into overdrive and not give out and not give up. And the first thing that feels like it's going to give out are just my feet. The arches of my feet are killing me constantly. But we'll do it. It'll help make sure that my kids have a good holiday this year. I asked my kids what they wanted, at least from, the gift that is from me. My kids are getting old enough, so I asked them, what do you want? Would you rather have one really, one more expensive gift? Or would you rather have, 3 to 4 smaller gifts? And both my kids chose one bigger gift. So I gotta see what it is exactly that I want to get my kids. We'll see what they want from good old Santa Claus. We'll see. We'll see what it is. But overall, it's looking like it's going to be a pretty decent holiday season. The one thing that my daughter wants before Christmas time is she wants her ears pierced, which my son also wants his ear pierced. Which, I can never say anything about because I have my ear pierced. Nowadays it is, I don't want to say it back in my day, but, I don't know how prevalent it is amongst high schoolers and middle schoolers now, or even late elementary schoolers. But I remember when I was growing up, if you had both ears pierced as a boy, you were definitely looked at as being a bit of a fairy. If you were a boy, you could only have the left ear pierced, which is the only one that I got, but only because I only wanted one because I remember as a kid seeing Link from Ocarina of Time having his ear pierced, and I remember as 7, 8 years old seeing the artwork. I was like, "Whoa, that was so cool!" So that's the only reason why I only got one ear pierced. I'm not gonna lie, I got it like my idol. But yeah, I don't know how it's viewed now. I imagine it's a lot more common for boys to have both ears pierced, but I'll see what my son wants to do. Because I just don't know what the current era of kids are. You know, I might tell my son, like, hey, listen, just get your left, and, you know, if eventually you want your other ear pierced, well, we'll get your other ear pierced. You know, what does it matter to me? It's all the same. I just don't got it because, you know, my hero only had one ear. I don't know if the new Link, that Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom Link, I don't know if he's got both ears pierced. But he's a little twink anyway, so what do I care about what he's doing? Oh, good mission, though. Good mission. I'm proud of myself. That was... If I can keep going that pace where, you know, I turn on a map, I try it, we see how it goes, and then it's like, okay, booyah. You know, as long as I can do that, then I'll be pretty happy. Who knows? Maybe next week I'll actually be able to get the first attempt. I need to take things into account like bottlenecks and stuff when I'm just acting. Especially trying to do it on the first time, not waiting to go through a map and being like, oh yeah, duh. We'll see. But that is going to be it for the day, guys. I am happy with this. I will be back next week for Mission 11. So, till then, y'all, peace out and enjoy.